Okay, so welcome you all. This is Tushar Pingte. I'm a senior business analyst in Kylas. Today's topic is enhanced IVR features in Kylas Caller App. So if you are using Kylas and you have IVR services that you are using for making a calling campaigns or getting follow up for your customers or providing support through call to your existing customers, you must be aware about the IVR services, right? But yeah, to integrate those IVR services into Kylas, we have done integration by the Kylas Caller applications. And yes, recently we have released some of the features to enhance those use cases in Kylas Caller. So let me share the pointers of this today's webinar. So we will be looking at how we can add multiple IVR numbers. If you have a multiple SR number or IVR numbers under one IVR account, how you can add those numbers in Kylas to make a call, outbound call. Then how you can manage the leads and their sources that are coming from the different IVR numbers. You must be using different IVR number for the different campaigns, right? And you want to track those leads whenever that lead calling you on that particular number. So you must be bifurcate those leads according to your IVR sources, right? So let me share my screen and show you how you can use the new features of the Kylas Caller application on Kylas. Let me know if my screen is visible to you. Okay, perfect. So in order to use Kylas Caller application, first you need to log in into Kylas. Here we have done the integration through a marketplace application. So to install this Kylas Caller app, you need to go to Kylas Marketplace. Here you will see a first application, that is Kylas Caller. I'm just clicking on this and I need to first install this application. If let's say you haven't installed this application on your account, let me show you what happens. If you go to leads or any of the entity, beside phone number, there is nothing call to action button, right? But if I install this application, let me install, and it will ask you to enter your Kylas credentials to authenticate the installation process. Again, it will verify all your permissions. Just click on allow and install, and the application will be installed to your account. If you are a first time customer, first time user, and which are using this application, it will ask you to sign up first, and once you verify your email ID, then you are ready to log in to this application. For the first time, you need to enter your API key. This is nothing but a Kylas API key, and where you will find this, just go to CRM setting. Under integrations, you will see a API key. Okay, just copy this API key and paste it over here. Now it again asks you, like whenever any of the lead comes into the system and there is no lead with that such a number, what entity you want to create. Either you can create lead, or you can create contact, or you can create both. Right now I'm just focusing on a lead. I'm just saving it. So this is the configuration has been done from my Kylas side. Now I want to connect my IVR account. So to connect my IVR account, just go to connected accounts. You can see a number of accounts already connected to my Kylas account. This is just for a testing purpose, but let me add one more account over here. If you go to add connected account, just select a vendor. If you can see, we have integrated with multiple IVR vendors. Just select Nolarity, or right now I'm just selecting one of the vendor, let's say Ozontail in this case. It will ask you to enter certain information like Ozontail API key, username, and Ozontail live campaign. If I select another operator, like let's say my operator, it will ask you a different set of informations like API key, API secret, public IVR. And in case of Tata Tele, let's say it asks you a different set of permission. This permission is nothing but to call their click to call API from Kylas in case of outgoing calls. Once you enter this information, just click on save it and your account will be connected. So let's say once you connect your account, we create one webhook URL. Okay. If you see in every vendors, in case of every vendors, we have created one webhook URL like dial desk, caller desk, or exotic. This is the hang-up URL on which all the call logs will be pushed. So both the outgoing as well as incoming call logs. This webhook URL, once we generate the webhook URL, this webhook URL you need to share to your IVR team. They will configure that URL from the backend or from the UI itself. Once it is configured, all the outgoing calls and incoming calls that are flowing from your Kylas to IVR system will be pushed to this URL, and we will create those call logs over Kylas. Okay. So let's say I have connected a nullity here. I'll edit this. I have entered such a information like nullity API key. I have this super receptionist number. Let me delete it first. So let's say I have only one SR number on a nullity. I have entered that number over here. I have this caller ID with me. If I save this, I'm ready to make a call. But in order to identify which agent called your customer, you need to map your nullity agent or any of the IVR agent with the Kylas agent. For that matter, you just need to go to view agents over here. Just click on add agent. Here just enter a unique identification of that agent. Like in case of Exotel, here it asks you to enter 10-digit number, and you have to map that agent with one of the Kylas user. Right now, if you can see, I have mapped this agent, Exotel user agent, with this Kylas agent. Okay. You can also see a mapping over here. So if this Kylas user is calling to my customers, the call log in the Kylas will be generated by this user only. Okay. So let's say I have connected my account. I have configured my webhook URL. I have mapped my agents. Now I want to make a call. So I will go to any of the lead. So now if you can see, I have once I install that application, you can see a click to call. This is nothing but a action button of the Kylas caller. Okay. Now I want to make a outbound call with this lead. This is nothing but a sample lead. I'm just click on this, and I just need to click on a nullity or whatever IVR I have IVR account I have connected. Okay. Once I make a call, let me try it. First, as agent, I will receive a call. As you can see, I have received call. Let me reject it. Yeah. And now it will go to end customer basically. Now, if I go to this lead and click on a call, you can see outgoing missed call logged by Tushar. This is nothing but the user, Kylas user that I had mapped. Okay. So this way we can directly make a call from Kylas to your end customers, and we will also create a call logs as well in Kylas itself. So let me delete this first. And now let's come to the enhanced features of Kylas Caller. Okay, so we have introduced to configure multiple IVR numbers in case of Exotel and Nolarity. Okay, if let's say this is the dial dash, if you connecting a dial dash, there is no option to enter your SR number. In case of caller dash, there is no option to enter your multiple IVR numbers. But in case of Nolarity, let's say, you can add more IVR numbers. That level of enhancement that we have given in case of Nolarity and Exotel. So now I can add more IVR numbers over here and I can save it. So let's say I'm showing you in case of Exotel as well. If I go to Exotel, here you can add multiple IVR numbers, right? Now let me save it, and now I will call from the Exotel or one of the Nolarity account. So let's say this is the Exotel. It will ask me on from which number I want to make a call. So there might be a possibility that you having multiple IVR numbers, but some of the numbers are only for the incoming purpose and some of the numbers are only for the outgoing purpose. Or you, let's say you want to make a call with the different IVR numbers. So I can select any of the number that I have added from the list of the numbers, and I just have to click on this make a call. Yeah, as you can hear that I have received call. If I receive it, it will goes to end customer. Now let's say I refresh this page. Again, you can see a call log has been created. This is nothing but a missed call, outgoing missed call, log by Tushar. So this is how you can use your multiple IVR numbers to make a call. You don't need to install different application to configure your different IVR numbers on a same Kylas account. Okay, so this was about outgoing calls. So let's come to incoming calls. So there might be a chance that you are blasting a calls over your end customers, right? You have a certain list of the numbers, you are blasting calls and you are running a marketing campaign through your IVRs, right? In that case, let's say any of the customers calls you back, you won't be having any of the information about that lead and you miss that call from your end. There must be chances of losing your leads, right? So in that case, let me first delete this lead. That lead is calling you back, right? So lead should be captured over here because you don't want to miss any of the lead because you are spending your money on your marketing campaigns. So let me search that lead for you. There is no lead with this number and this number is calling me again. The lead should be captured, right? But if I'm using multiple IVR numbers for the multiple campaigns, how would I identify that a incoming call was coming for a which campaign, right? So I need to map those campaigns as well with that IVR number. So I just have to go to Kylas Caller. Let's say in case of Exotel, I have multiple IVR numbers. I just have to go to map fields over here. Now here you can map a product or owner or campaign or source for the IVR numbers, right? Let me clear it out first. So let's say you have four IVR numbers in your Exotel account. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this number is using for one of the campaigns, right? You can add that number over here. You can map any of the campaign. Let's say I'm mapping organic as a campaign and source as a cold calling for this number. Okay. So whenever any incoming call I will receive on this number, this campaign and this source should be mapped. So I can identify whenever lead is getting created in my system, I should be able to know that from which campaign this lead is coming from, right? So let me save it. And if you scroll up here, you can see a default mapping as well. So this is the default mapping. Okay, let me clear it out. So I have mapped this organic as a campaign and source as a cold calling for this number, and I have turned on this default mapping. Okay, I will just select one, let's say LinkedIn for example. So what will happen whenever a call is coming from these numbers? They are not, there is no dedicated campaign or source mapping for these three numbers. Okay, we have just map a organic as a campaign and so cold calling as a source for this number, right? So whenever any end customer is calling me, we will on this number we will map organic and cold calling as a campaign and source over this lead. And any of the lead is calling me on this number, I just want to map source as a, let's say in case of LinkedIn as an example. Let me save it. So let me go back to leads. As you can see, there is no such a lead with this number. Okay, let me make a incoming call from the end user's point of view. Yeah, so I have received incoming call, and if I sorry, refresh this leads page, you will see the lead has been captured, and if you see, it just created, right? We don't receive any of the first name or last name from the IVR side, so we push a mobile number under the last name only. So you can take a follow up and then update this information of their lead, right? So and let's say I had call on this number. This number is nothing but the number that I had used to map my cold calling and cold calling as a source and organic as a campaign. So if I go to campaign information, you will see source and campaign has been mapped. So now I can identify that for which number the call has been received, right? If I go to call logs, there is an incoming sign over here, and this is nothing but an incoming missed call, right? This you can see a type lead called me from this number, right? So this way you can identify from which number or from which campaign you have received an incoming call. Basically, let me delete this lead once again, and let me show you if any of the end customer is calling on is one of the number which does not have a dedicated campaign or source mapped, right? What will happen? So I have received call on, and I had called on this number, let's say, which does not have a dedicated campaign and source, but I had kept a default source as a LinkedIn. So whenever any of the call is coming on this one of the number, this by default map a LinkedIn as a source. Now let me go to search this lead. I will open this lead, and under campaign information you can see a source as LinkedIn. So this way you can identify and bifurcate your leads, that leads are coming from which campaign basically. And same for those calls, we will generate a call log that is being pushed by IVR services. That's it. Okay. So this enhancement, like adding a multiple IVR numbers in case of Exotel and Nolarity, we have enhanced this Kylas Caller application for you. And also you can map a different campaign and sources for the different IVR numbers. So you can identify and bifurcate your leads according to your running campaigns over the IVR side, right? So this was all about the enhancement that we have done so far for the Kylas Caller application. So we can wrap up today's webinar. If you have any queries later, you can just mail us on support@kylas.io. We will happy to help you. Let's meet on the next webinar on the same day, Wednesday. Thank you.